Hello, and welcome back to the Dream of Fantastic Dream podcast. Today is February 28th, 2022, and today we are diving into Disney attractions history from all over the world. We are your hosts, Jared Covert, Armida Flores, and Skylar Gifford. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm here.
Oh yeah, being here, that's all we can ask for these days.
I know, honestly.
I'm about as here as a soggy pierogi.
Oh,
Okay, so context. My dinner today is 2 soggy pierogies and a bag of popcorn because there's no food in my house that I want.
It's always
okay.
fun.
That's all I had at Disney for 7 hours yesterday. It was pretty good.
There's about oh my god. Yeah, there's about 2 plates of leftovers from like 2 days ago and then 1 thing of pasta from like 4 days ago, and I'm like, no.
Just no.
All right,
And I'm
so,
poor,
Okay.
mood.
Jumping into breaking news, we're going to start off with my favorite. Elizabeth Olsen's contract has been extended for another 7 films up to 2029, which includes a solo Scarlet Witch film in development.
That's a lot of movies with her, though.
I'm so
like,
excited.
That's not that long though. 7 years, like there's a lot that happens in between. There's like not a lot that happens in 7 years.
No, 7
Yeah.
films.
Oh, 7 film. I thought you said
Yes.
years.
7
Okay.
No,
films.
7 films.
Okay.
There's a lot of, yeah.
That's a
But
lot.
all of them will be released before 2029.
Yeah, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully. That's what they said. I don't know how they're going to pull that off, but
She's going to be in the next Spider-Man too.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume, yeah.
I'm prepped. I'm ready. Anyway.
She's going to show up in Spider-Verse.
I hope so.
Dude, that would be so funny. She just shows up in
so.
everything. She's just part of Wakanda now. She
She's
shows
new
up in
Chris Evans.
Antimania.
That I don't want. She's
In
just
Wakanda?
like the one character that you see in the background every so often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And you're like, ah.
I see you. Yeah.
She's the new Chris Evans cameo that was in Homecoming.
So the new Haunted Mansion film finally has a release date of March 10th, 2023. The plot description is a single mom named Gabby hires a tour guide, a psychic, a priest, and a historian to help exorcise their newly bought mansion after discovering it is inhabited by ghosts. So it has Rosario Dawson as Gabby, a single mother, Tiffany Haddish as Harriet, a psychic medium, Lakeith Stanfield as Ben.
Lakeith Stanfield.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, move on.
Keep going.
Owen Wilson as the priest, and Danny DeVito as a college history professor. I'm super
sorry.
excited.
If you got a psychic and a priest come in at the same time, you need to get your priorities straight.
Yeah, you need a new house is what you need.
It's true.
You don't need to move in there.
But like this cast is so indicative of like how about the tone of what this movie is going to be.
It's going to be a comedy.
Oh,
for sure. Yeah.
I'm mad that we better have an Eddie Murphy
cameo.
Yeah, just a little cameo.
They buy oh my god, their house that they buy from is Evers and Evers Real Estate.
Oh,
that's what it is.
Welcome to Evers and Evers. Anyway, so next piece of news: production on Indiana Jones 5 has officially wrapped and is set to release June 30th, 2023. Woo!
Nice.
Party.
Do I have
Exciting.
trauma from Crystal Skull?
Yes.
Absolutely. Am I still excited?
No.
Yeah, I am. I am still excited. I am untrustfully excited. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, this might be so bad, but I'm gonna see my boy on screen one more time. Anyway, a new plaque at the entrance to Avengers Campus at DCA dedicates the land to Stan Lee. The plaque is on a stone column currently surrounded by flowers in blue planters and reads, "We dedicate Avengers Campus to the incomparable Stan Lee," and quotes the Marvel creator himself, "That person who helps others simply because it should or must be done, and because it is the right thing to do, is indeed without a doubt a real superhero." It then says, "Thank you, Stan, for inspiring the hero within each of us. You have made us all true believers."
He's gonna be missed forever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like him and Betty White were the power couple of humanity.
Oh my god, that would have been an amazing couple. Are you kidding? That would have been so catastrophic. But speaking of cameos though, like the king of cameos himself, Stan Lee, just crushed every single one of them. There's like a whole like what's your favorite Stan Lee cameo thing, and there's no wrong answer in my opinion.
Are you Tony Stank?
That's the best one in my opinion.
That is the best one. That's the correct answer.
My favorite is Infinity War, honestly.
What's the matter?
When he's
with you,
driving the
Chief?
school
You never
bus.
seen a spaceship before?
I
Yeah,
have
Andrew Garfield one in the first Spider-Man one is pretty good.
I have a theory just because of Rhodey and RDJ's reaction
Mhm.
to that line that it was a slip up and they rolled with it.
Mhm. Like yes, this is Tony Stank.
Yeah. And then they were like, cut the cameras. That's the cameo.
That's the whole thing. It's
All right, so
iconic.
jumping into the Star Cruiser. So the Galactic Star Cruiser did an exclusive preview of the hotel experience for media and influencers, and the resort has not opened to guests yet, but exclusive merchandise is already being sold on eBay, which is hilarious, honestly.
Oh,
The
wow.
Lightsaber Hill is going for $1,299. The Star Cruiser Droid from the Droid Depot is going for $995. The Magic Band is going for $200, and the Droid action figure is going for $245.
So we figured it out. It's the TikTokers.
Are we surprised?
For those of you that haven't heard me say this, I hate resellers with a passion.
Oh, passion.
And I don't mean like the resellers like me where it's, oh, I've had this Funko for a while. Now I need to make space, so I'm going to sell it at retail price. No, it's these people that are like, oh, $1,300 for this lightsaber hilt
that I got yesterday for $200.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't stand them.
And it's so funny because like the photos that they were posting to eBay was literally on the Galactic Star Cruiser. So they were still in their rooms when they were trying to sell them on eBay.
Yeah.
And it's working. It's working too. Like a bunch of them is already being sold.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I'm mad about it.
I'm so mad about it. And just for those of us who were curious, I did watch Tim Tracker's the YouTube video of Star Cruiser. Do I think it's worth it? My answer, no.
I watched Super Carlin Brothers and yeah, no.
I mean, theirs was obviously a little bit more on the tough side, but Tim Tracker's was literally just like, I'm on the Star Cruiser. This is what's happening. So I was able to form a little bit more of an objective opinion for myself, a subjective opinion for myself.
I just don't acknowledge the need for the Star Cruiser. I think a Star Wars themed hotel would have been a really cool idea. But to charge more than the Grand Floridian for
2 days.
2 days. I'm like,
I know, and somebody was like, if it had been 4 to 5 nights, 5 to 7 nights for that price, aboard a ship like that, maybe it would have been more worth it. But for 2 nights, the general opinion that I'm seeing is that if it was longer, it would be more worth it.
Yeah.
No hate to people who did like it. I just feel like it's a good thing for families who have people who don't know what Star Wars is but want to be in space and do know what Star Wars is and are big fans.
See, my issue I have is that they targeted it to YouTubers and people on TikTok, like kids and like teenagers and adults, and it wasn't their audience at all that they were targeting it for. Yeah. So all these like people got to go and like promote it on their social media platforms, but it wasn't even like indicative of the actual thing and the hotel itself. It was just them trying to get the word out that, hey, we got to do this. And now we're trying to get more people to spend thousands of dollars so you can do it too. It's like, why would you do that in the first place? Especially like right now during, everything that's happening overseas with the Ukraine, and especially now with like COVID and everything. Like, I don't understand what the need is at all.
Yeah, that's actually a more socially conscious comment than I had it factored in myself, was I wasn't even thinking about how like cast members in the park still have to wear their masks and social distance. But here we are with a full cruise packed with people. No one's wearing a mask, no windows, no doors. Like, And
Yep.
then at the same time, like, you know, there's a huge crisis that's going on, and no one's really. They're just like, but come stay in our tunnel for 2 nights.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched those videos and I've seen maybe like 3 people in the background actually wearing a mask.
Mhm.
Anyways,
Yeah. I also do want to note that if you don't like castle shows, automatically the Star Cruiser is not for you, because the whole thing felt like one big castle show. It was like awkward. The dialogue was cheesy. It was long. They
Also,
just
Kylo
talk.
Ren's voice annoys me. Like it. First of all, like their continuity is so messed up. It's
Mhm,
between episode 7 and 8, right?
mhm,
Or 8, 7 or 8, 8 and 9. I don't know.
mhm.
I don't know.
Kylo Ren has his mask still, even though he
Yeah.
smashed it to death.
He hasn't fixed it yet, so apparently he's still wearing it.
And like his voice sounds like one of those zombies from Black Ops 2. Like it doesn't sound like Kylo Ren at all.
At all.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's an actor behind it who's like speaking through like a voice splicer.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay, moving on. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway opening at Disneyland is said to have some enhancements Florida doesn't have. No further details have been announced, so I guess we'll find out what that is soon enough.
Woohoo!
I'm super excited. I feel like
wish it was a better ride. That's all I have to say.
We'll get into that later.
yeah, I mean, like, I'm just excited for the whole entirety of, you know, Toontown to be overhauled.
Yeah.
Not just the ride itself.
I feel like in California this is necessary, and I feel like in Florida it probably wasn't.
Yeah.
I feel like it just should have been in California because
I agree.
We'll get into it later because
We'll get into it.
We'll get into it. Also, stay tuned for the next episode for a recap on the full foodie guide for DCA's Food and Wine Festival at the Disneyland Resort.
Woohoo!
We've acknowledged that these food lists and menus go on for a long time. So we're going to make them into their own episodes. They're going to be probably strictly those menus. So like 30 45-minute episodes, but we're going to go into a bit more detail than what we normally do.
Yeah, so we're talking about like taking all the news for each week and making it like its own news episodes. So if you guys like that kind of thing and like hearing about like the parks and stuff like that, and you want to be updated and informed, like we have those episodes for you, but we also have the episodes strictly for what we do and having fun. So there's 2 different things of what we're going to do now instead of having, you know, the news at the beginning of every episode, to not draw it out as much anymore.
Yeah.
So that way, if you came here for attraction history, you're not having to guess the timestamp at which you have to jump to.
Yeah. Right. All right. And with that, Jared, are you ready for your first one?
I can. Yes.
Let's do it.
Ready.
You got this.
Are we doing one apiece and then circling back around, or are we doing
That's
both?
what I was thinking. Yeah.
One apiece.
Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Give you some time to rest.
Perfect. So for those who don't know, which I'm sure y'all do at this point, I have an unhealthy obsession with living with the land.
Woohoo!
So
There we go.
of course
As you
this
should.
is my first one.
He literally texted us, I'm gonna do this ride and living with the
All
land.
caps.
And I was like, Sky, I think he wants to do living with the land.
I think he wants to do living with the land. If Skylar would have claimed living with the land, he would have found me at his house late last night in California.
No, I wasn't gonna take that from you. I want you to do it. Yeah.
I'm surprised
Dame
you picked
Judy.
Spaceship Earth.
I did. Yeah, I was too. I was like, I was gonna pick Spaceship Earth, and he was
But
like, nope.
He didn't pick Dame Judi Dench.
I didn't pick Dame Judy. I feel like that ride's deep dive is on a very, very basic level. Not basic, but very you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
it's Epcot's history, essentially.
Yeah. The deep dive is the ride
Mm-hmm.
because it's about technology.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
Anyways, let's jump into living with the land, starting with our basic info. So living with the land, which was originally listen to the land, is a slow-moving boat ride consisting of a dark ride and greenhouse tour located within the land, a pavilion at Future World, which is now World Nature, and I like that name a lot better than Future World.
I like World Nature. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the Epcot in Disney World, the focus of the ride is on agriculture, especially new technology to make agriculture more efficient, sustainable, and environmentally friendly. You might think, what's special about this ride? Why would I go on it? And what's the point? Well, let me tell you.
He'll tell us.
All the vegetables in aquatic life grown and raised within the greenhouses are actually used to feed all of the parks around the Walt Disney World Resort, especially within the Garden Grill, Sunshine Seasons, and Coral Reef and the Seas. I'll get into the actual numbers that this greenhouse produces later. There is also a walking tour called Behind the Seeds. This is a 1 hour tour which allows guests to learn more about the plants, fish, and the insects that are inside living with the land, as well as different agricultural methods Disney employs.
Of course, Disney controls the insects.
I want to do it
Yeah.
so badly. Like, it
I do
sounds so
too.
weird, but I really want to do this tour.
Okay, so we're
I
gonna do
would
it.
have made my mom do it last time we went, but it was peak of COVID and it was closed and I was upset.
Oh no! What we gotta do now?
Okay, jumping into the ride experience. So the dark ride portion of the attraction opens with a scene of a deciduous forest in the middle of a thunderstorm, illustrating how the forces that shape the land can appear destructive to us. The boat then sails through artificial biomes representing a tropical rainforest, a desert, and the American prairie. Some of the audio animatronic figures in this section were actually originally created for the never built Magic Kingdom attraction, Western River Expedition. Just a little tidbit on that. The Western River Expedition was a Disney theme park attraction that was designed but never built, and it was to be a Western themed boat ride slated to appear in the northwestern section of Frontierland at Magic Kingdom.
Oh.
So there was fully supposed to be another ride, and then it didn't happen. And they were like, oh, this can fit. And I like that. Moving on with Living with the Land, the biomes feature sound and lighting effects in addition to heat, wind, and mist to simulate real conditions. The boats float through a small theater that illustrates the relationship between humans and the environment and the ways that we have been modifying the land to better serve our purposes. The second part of the attraction takes place in the land's living laboratory, which showcases ideas about the future of agriculture. All of the plants in this section are grown through various methods of hydroponics. If you don't know what hydroponics are, they are a type of horticulture and a subset of hydroculture, which involves growing plants, usually crops that we eat every day, without soil by using mineral nutrient solutions in an aqueous solvent. That just means something that dissolves in water initially. Plants are grown in sand, perlite, which is volcanic glass with a high water content, coconut fibers, and rock wool. Rock wool is exactly what it sounds like.
Interesting. Okay.
It's wool made out of minerals like rock.
Mhm.
Yep.
Interesting.
Now let's get into the 5 living laboratories. I
Yeah.
love this ride. These ones are a bit shorter, but I kind of wanted to cut it down a bit because I'm going to be talking a lot later. So we start with a tropics greenhouse. This greenhouse features crops from the tropical areas of the world, including both familiar and exotic foods. Plants on display include banana, cacao, jackfruit, date palm, dragon fruit, vanilla, cleome, pineapple, java apples, and papayas.
Please list every single one.
Oh, I do. It's just a list. Then we get into the aqua cell. This section focuses on aquaculture or fish farming. It includes several high density tanks and a few low density display tanks and tubes. Animals on display include tilapia, sturgeon, paddlefish, catfish, bass, American alligator, and shrimp. And I'm going to say it because I have an issue with it every time I ride this. The announcer says tilapia, and I can't stand it. It's tilapia.
Yeah.
He says tilapia, and I'm like, it's not, but okay.
That's disgusting. I don't like it.
The sustainable system located in the aqua cell recycles the water through the pretty much through the use of putting plants with high oxygen content on top of the actual fish biomes, which pretty much the fish remains essentially, or poop if you want to say that,
Fish poop.
Yummy.
They feed the plants and the plants keep the water clean. It's very,
Circle of life.
yeah, it's very efficient. And the Aquacell also recycles the water, saving millions of gallons of water each year. So it saves so much water. The count, from what I believe, I was watching a podcast on it. The count is like, with how much water is saved, you could fill Splash Mountain 7 times. Yeah.
That's insane.
The
Yeah.
faces that we both made.
Wow.
Our eyes just went wide.
Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
so much water. And then the small fish farm that's on the Walt Disney World property that you see produces nearly 5,000 pounds of fish each year, which is all the fish that is served through the Walt Disney World Resort.
You know, honestly, I would think it'd be more than that.
I thought it was too, but when you look at it, it's only a few tanks.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, yeah. That makes sense, but like there's so many restaurants like around the Disney property
That's what I'm thinking too.
and so many people that go. That's just like I'm just surprised that it's that low.
Mhm.
Yeah. Just yeah.
Yeah.
So we move into the temperate greenhouse, which was formerly the desert greenhouse.
Mhm.
It's a greenhouse featuring crops from temperate climates. Currently, the temperature house showcases large-sized crops such as the prize winner and Atlantic giant pumpkins, winter melon, pomelos, and 9-pound lemons. 9-pound lemons, and I'm
I love
obsessed with
that.
it.
I'm obsessed with. I like that because my grandpa's before he passed, he had a tree in his backyard that he grew, and he grew lemons that were like freakishly huge like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's for real. That's
It's
real
fun.
stuff. Yeah.
The other crops in this greenhouse include sunflowers, beets, turnip, cotton, millet, I think is how it's called, is what it's called, and casa banana. Casa banana.
Casa banana.
And then we get into the string greenhouse. This greenhouse focuses on innovative, high density techniques such as nutrient film technique. It also shows off vertical growing techniques in which plants are grown on specialized trellises, which cause the herbaceous plants to approximate the shape and structure of trees. So initially, it's this big man-made. It kind of looks like a stick with holes poking out of it.
Mhm.
But when the like herbs and plants grow in, it does look quite like a tree.
Mhm.
Um, One of the most famous examples of these trees is the land's tomato tree, which produces over 32,000 tomatoes in a 16-month period.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's ready.
Mhm.
Uh it was actually recognized by the Guinness World Records as both the largest and most productive tomato plant in the world.
Oh my god.
Just the one.
Yeah.
And
Just the one.
ridiculous.
Jeez.
Other crops include eggplant, peppers, winged bean, lettuce. Winged bean. It's a winged bean.
I want to see a picture of that. I'm gonna do that while you read the rest of these.
Um, Furthermore, cucumbers and pumpkins are grown in the shape of Mickey Mouse through the use of special molds. Much of the produce grown in the string greenhouse is used in the Garden Grill and Sunshine Seasons, both restaurants in the Land Pavilion. In total, over 30 tons of produce are harvested from the land each year.
That's what I was wondering because, like, I'm looking at that greenhouse and I'm like, how much does that really produce for the kitchens? Because that's a lot of food.
Yeah,
A lot.
it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like not all the vegetables, but a
Yeah.
good majority of the vegetables served around the park
Mm-hmm.
come from this greenhouse.
I'm learning like they're showing us like a quarter of it, I'm sure, because there's like a lot.
Oh yeah.
A lot.
Oh yeah.
But it looks just like that, I'm sure of it. Hidden Mickeys and all. I'm sure it looks just like that.
And then we finally get into the creative greenhouse. It's the final greenhouse in the attraction, which shows some unusual ideas about the future of agriculture. Most of the plants in Creative House are grown via aeroponics, not to be confused with hydroponics.
Or hydraulics, which will come later. Ooh.
Exactly. Aeroponics is pretty much when a fine mist of water and nutrients is sprayed directly onto the roots of the plants. The roots dangle freely in the air and are not hindered by any growing medium. Some of the plant's roots in Creative House are enclosed within rotating columns and A-frame structures, while others are completely exposed to the open air, so the entire plant may be viewed by the guests on the boat ride. This is that portion where if you've been there and been on Living with the Land, it's the rotating conveyor belt where they go through the little section and then it comes out the other end and you see the roots dangling through the bottom. Creative House also features a small exhibit of NASA hydroponic growing units, which were developed for use on extended length space journeys. The crops on display include tomato, squash, lettuce, basil, rosemary, cabbage, super dwarf wheat, Swiss chard, marigold, and snapdragons. Super dwarf.
I want to try a super dwarf.
Super dwarf.
Super bear, super dwarf.
Additionally, the living laboratories also contain a U.S. Department of Agriculture research lab. There's two of them. There's the biotechnology lab, which is attached to the creative greenhouse. It's a sterile research environment where several USDA scientists are on site at the land performing research on crop improvement. The land also produces a product called Mickey's Mini Gardens in the biotechnology lab.
Oh, cool.
And then there's also the integrated pest management lab, which is when I said insects earlier. It's an entomology laboratory that raises beneficial insects for use in the land and all over Walt Disney World property. It is not visible on the Living with the Land boat ride, but is visited during the behind the scenes backstage tour. The insects, yeah. The insects raised here include tiny stingless wasps, and
Honey.
ladybugs.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah. The ride concludes with a lighted collage of people and produce from all over the world, along with a projection of Earth as seen from space. Okay, we're coming on the closing points with the background finally. Living with the Land originally opened as Listen to the Land on September 28th, 1982. The attraction then closed for refurbishment in 1993 and reopened the same year with a new name, Living with the Land. Very little was changed between the two versions of the attraction. However, the opening scene, the Symphony of the Seed, which provided a stylized look at the growth of a plant, was replaced by the opening storm scene. Also, the biotechnology lab was relocated from the exit tunnel to the creative greenhouse. The integrated pest management lab is now housed in the space formerly occupied by the biotechnology lab. The ride has been updated to use on an automated guide, not a cast member. Also, the theme song Listen to the Land is no longer used in the attraction. However, an instrumental version can still be heard in the land's exterior background music loop, as well as the music loop played inside the garden grill. They are currently using portions of various other pieces, including Rainforest Rhapsody and Dawn of a New Day. Sorry, I like music. I wanted to put that in there.
I like that.
The music is so beautiful, though. Like, side note, it's so good. It fits so well.
Flute. That's the end of Living with the Land.
Woohoo!
I loved that.
Good job.
Would you want it to be the same name as it is now, or would you want to go back to the way it was?
I want
because Listen to the Land is kind of pretty, but like I feel like it'd be so hard to lose Living with the Land.
But are you living if you're not living with the land?
I kind of want Symphony of the Seed to come back, but I want them to make a new area in front of it. So we get Symphony of the Seed and then we get the storm scene. Because the Symphony of the Seed is cool.
They could do it in the queue.
They could.
Yeah, because like they have all the screens there. I mean, they could just do it like that and just like replace the monitors with that as well.
Or just make a nice queue for it, because honestly, it deserves a pretty queue.
It deserves a better queue.
Yeah, but that storm scene is like one of my favorite parts of the whole attraction.
Mhm.
Oh, do you not sleep through that ride?
Why
No,
would
he
I want to
doesn't.
sleep through Living
He
with the
loves
Land?
that ride.
Because you
Pirates? No,
sleep
he's
through
out.
every other ride.
Okay, fair.
Like
I
Pirates,
would.
he's out.
I can't bring myself to do that.
Grand
Except for
Fiesta,
Sky
he's
School.
out. Oh,
Sky,
Sky School, he cried.
Sky School, you're
oh,
screaming for your life.
Sky School and Gadget Go Coaster are two that I
Yeah.
like. Nope, we can't do
Yes,
that.
he feels like he's gonna fall out.
Thank you.
You're
Okay. I believe it's Armida up next.
Are you ready?
I am.